Hey everybody, you won't believe how these 13 people died. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. Get ready. Some of these stories are just... wow. We scoured history and the internet for the most head-scratching final chapters. Let's get into it. Story 1, the man, the myth, the beard. In the 16th century, the Austrian town of Braunau am Inn had a very big celebrity, Hans Steininger, the town's respected burgomaster or mayor. But it wasn't his political prowess that made him famous, it was his beard. A magnificent forked cascade of facial hair that measured an astonishing 4.5 feet long, nearly touching the ground when he stood. It was the talk of the region, a source of immense pride for Hans, and a spectacle for all who saw it. He was a man defined by the sheer, unbelievable length of his whiskers. Ordinarily, Hans was meticulously careful. He would spend a great deal of time grooming his prized possession before neatly rolling it up and tucking it away into a special leather pouch he wore at his side. This daily ritual kept it clean, safe, and most importantly, out from under his feet. But on one fateful day in 1567, routine was shattered by chaos. A fire had broken out in town. Bells clanged as panic filled the streets. As mayor, Hans felt the weight of responsibility and rushed to organize the response to save his people. In his haste, driven by civic duty, he made a fatal oversight. He forgot his one crucial routine, securing his beard. As he hurried down a flight of stone stairs, his legendary beard unspooled behind him like a silken trap. In the confusion, he stepped on it. The sudden jolt sent him tumbling head over heels down the unforgiving steps. The town was saved from the fire, but its mayor was not. Hans Steininger died instantly from a broken neck. His demise wasn't caused by flames or smoke, but by the very thing that had brought him so much fame. In a final bizarre twist, his legendary beard was preserved, and to this day, it remains on display in an Austrian museum, a hairy and cautionary tale. In 1974, Croydon Basil Brown got obsessed with health food, especially carrot juice. He drank a gallon of carrot juice a day for 10 days straight. Excess vitamin A is fat-soluble. His body stockpiled it, skin turned orange, and organs suffered. After severe overdose, his liver shut down. Doctors said it was like being poisoned by carrots. 10,000 times the recommended daily vitamin A. A reminder, moderation matters. Arizona, 1982. David Grundman and a friend go target shooting near Lake Pleasant. He decides to shoot a giant 26-foot saguaro. A very bad idea. After pot shots, he moves close and blasts the base. The cactus weakens. One huge arm snaps, a 500-pound limb topples toward him. It crushed David instantly. Moral, do not fight a century-old 26-foot plant. 3rd century BC, Chrysippus, a major Stoic philosopher famous for logic and a strange last laugh. He told his slave to give a donkey pure wine to wash down figs, and started laughing. He laughed uncontrollably. The accounts say he couldn't stop. Legend says he laughed until he died. Historians suggest seizure or heart attack may explain it. Either way, the phrase dying of laughter gained a literal footnote in history. Marcus Crassus, richest man in Rome, sought military glory in Parthia. At Carrhae, his legions were crushed and Crassus was captured. The Parthians decided to punish his greed symbolically, with molten gold. They poured boiling gold down his throat. A gruesome, poetic execution, if accounts are accurate. The man who lived for gold died by gold. A warning about greed and hubris. January 1979, Flat Rock, Michigan. A Ford casting plant with a 5-story parts retrieval robot. When the system lagged, 25-year-old Robert Williams climbed into the racks to fetch parts manually. For unknown reasons, the arm activated. It had no proximity sensors to detect him. The arm struck his head from behind, killing him instantly. The first recorded human killed by a robot. A tragic reminder of automation's risks, and why safety systems are vital. Modern obsession chasing the perfect shot. In October 2018, travel bloggers Meenakshi and Vishnu visited Yosemite. They set up a tripod at Taft Point, an 800-foot drop with no railings. Witnesses saw them pose. The next day their gear remained on the cliff. Search teams later found their bodies 800 feet below, a heartbreaking death for a photo. A tragic example of social pressure for likes. Beautiful photos aren't worth risking your life. Caratinga, Brazil, 2013. João de Souza was asleep when a crash woke his wife. The roof collapsed under a heavy impact. His wife escaped with minor injuries. João was pinned. A 1.5-ton cow wandered onto the roof built into a hill. The roof couldn't hold it. He was rescued but died next day from internal bleeding, a 1 in a billion freak accident. The cow reportedly wandered off unharmed, an impossible story to explain at dinner parties. We've all had a snack get stuck. But shaking a vending machine can be deadly. These machines can weigh 600 to 900 pounds and are top-heavy when full. Someone rocks the machine harder and misjudges the tipping point. The machine can come crashing down and crush the person beneath. Dozens of fatal incidents since the 1970s. Lesson: call the service number or walk away. A snack isn't worth your life. UK storms in 2010 brought hurricane-force winds. One neighbor's garden ornament became a projectile. A heavy ceramic gnome was swept up and launched through the air like a missile. It struck Stephen Hilder, impaled him, initially treated as suspicious, later ruled a freak storm accident. Police investigated. Conclusion: gale-force winds produced a deadly, inexplicable projectile. Even harmless yard decor can become lethal in extreme storms. Tie things down when winds come. June 1559. King Henry II of France loved jousting and entered a tournament during his daughter's wedding festivities. Despite warnings, he insisted on one last tilt against Gabriel de Montgomery. A splinter flew through his visor and lodged in his eye and brain, an unbelievably unlucky wound. Doctors tried radical treatments, even experimental procedures, but infection set in. After 10 days of suffering, Henry died. Jousting effectively ended in French courtly life. The year is 2012. Inside a bustling commercial tire shop, an experienced mechanic begins a routine job: inflating a large truck tire. It's a task performed thousands of times a day in garages worldwide. But hidden within this tire's rubber and steel was a catastrophic flaw, a ticking time bomb waiting for the right amount of pressure to detonate. To seat the tire's bead against the wheel rim, mechanics use a burst inflation tool. This device delivers a massive, instantaneous blast of compressed air, turning the tire into a highly pressurized vessel. The danger is ever present, as the line between a successful seating and a violent failure is terrifyingly thin. Suddenly, the tire didn't just pop. It experienced a zipper failure, a catastrophic event where the steel belts in the sidewall rupture in a rapid chain reaction. In a microsecond, the tire's structure completely failed, releasing all its stored energy not as a leak, but as a single devastating concussive blast. The blast wave struck the mechanic with the force of an explosion, launching him vertically off his feet. He was thrown across the workshop and slammed into the ceiling with such violence that he was killed instantly. The air, once filled with the sounds of work, was now filled with a deafening silence. This tragic incident is a brutal reminder that familiar tasks can harbor lethal potential. The energy stored in a pressurized truck tire is immense. Safety protocols like using inflation cages to contain such blasts are not just regulations, they are the critical barrier between a routine job and a fatal outcome. It's a stark lesson in respecting invisible forces. In 2007, the Nintendo Wii was the hottest gadget on the planet. Capitalizing on the craze, Sacramento radio station KDND held a contest with a catchy and ultimately deadly premise: hold your Wii for a Wii. What began as a zany morning show stunt would become a chilling example of a publicity stunt gone horribly wrong. The rules were simple. Contestants drank 8-ounce bottles of water every 15 minutes. The last to pee wins. On air, the DJs joked about the participants' discomfort, treating the dangerous and poorly conceived event as a spectacle. They even dismissed calls from listeners who warned them of the life-threatening dangers of water intoxication, prioritizing ratings over safety. Among them was Jennifer Strange, a 28-year-old mother of 3, who desperately wanted to win the console for her children. She drank almost 2 gallons in a few hours. Witnesses recalled her complaining of a splitting headache and looking visibly ill. Despite the agony, she pushed through and came in second. Hours later, she called in sick to work, telling her boss the pain was unbearable. She was later found dead at home. The cause was acute water intoxication, or hyponatremia. The massive quantity of water had fatally diluted the sodium levels in her blood, causing her brain cells to swell with catastrophic pressure. It was a horrific, preventable death. The station was sued for wrongful death and lost millions. The trial revealed the station had been warned about the dangers but proceeded anyway. A jury found the parent company negligent, awarding Jennifer's family $16.5 million, and 10 employees were fired. It was a landmark case and a grim reminder, a tragic, preventable outcome for a $250 console. 13 strange stories, almost too bizarre to be true, but each about a real person. Behind every bizarre headline was a life that ended. These are real people, real families. Laugh if you must, but remember, life is fragile. Make safe choices and cherish moments. If you enjoyed this wild ride, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.